Hey guys, Jamie, y'all not eating dinner?
I'm eating Debbie cake.
It's 6:30.
I know it, but I had something about 5:30.
Okay. Somebody, right, Michael's the one saying they eat every day at 6:30. I was like, I haven't noticed that, but anyway. Okay. So let's get started, everybody. I want to thank those of you who got to join us earlier for the 12 o'clock meeting. It didn't work out. You know, we paid for a Zoom deal where we were able to have 500 people watch, and it limited us to 100, which was the whole reason we spent the extra money. And so I have an email in and waiting on a phone call back from Zoom. But either way, we sent out the recording of it. Hope everybody had a chance to watch it if you didn't get to watch it live, but I do apologize for not being able to have everybody on. But I wanted to give everybody an update on a couple of things. Number one, and I don't know if you guys watch the news a whole lot, whatever, but give you guys some kind of good news, I guess. So in Georgia, starting Friday, they're opening hair salons, nail salons, and gyms back up. That is this Friday, the 24th. Then on Monday, the 27th, they're opening theaters and restaurants again. So that is the 27th in Georgia. So me and my wife are going out to dinner in Georgia on Monday night. So we haven't picked a restaurant out yet. No. So that's what's going on in Georgia. And in South Carolina, those of you that are there, you guys know that department stores, sporting goods stores, bookstores, and many other retailers opened up as of last night in South Carolina. Okay. And you know, the good thing about this is, and there's other states around the country doing the same, but it's encouraging for the customers to see that business is starting to open back up again. It encourages them to spend money. And, you know, consumer confidence is important. People buy when they feel secure with what's going on with the economy. And so that's starting to come back again in little steps and little stages. And so that is definitely exciting news. I want to remind everybody that, you know, there's an unprecedented demand for our product right now, more so than any other time I've been in the business. People want our product, and our closing average is as high as it's ever been in my years in Rainbow. There's people on the call that can attest to that. But you know, the one reason that our product is sought after so much right now is actually two things. I got number one as the pollen, right? It's pollen season again. And so all of us have been suffering a little bit from pollen. I think even people who don't have allergies to pollen have suffered this year. It's been extremely bad. And also, obviously, the coronavirus. So people are more concerned and thinking more about clean air and their health and all of that. And so that's awesome. I want to show you guys something. If I haven't shown you guys before, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, I don't know. But it's this little letter I read to you guys a couple of times from it. Maybe I showed it to you, maybe I didn't. This is from the Delaware Department of Public Health. And if you read the part that says, how do infections spread? It said airborne infections spread when bacteria or viruses, which is what the coronavirus is, obviously, travel on dust particles or small respiratory droplets that become aerosolized when an infected person sneezes or coughs. Healthy people can inhale the infectious droplets, or the droplets can land on their eyes, nose, and mouth. People who inhale the airborne germs do not have to be face-to-face or be in the same room as the infected person. To protect their patients, hospitals have special air handling and ventilation systems in some rooms. So, you know, what I would do if it were me, I would get a copy of this letter, take it with me on my demos and read it to the customer and say, you know, if you've been watching the news, there's been studies on there about how this stuff is spread. And, you know, they're talking about through the ventilation systems in buildings and stuff like that. And, you know, anything we can do to get this stuff out of our air, the transportation mode of this stuff, which is dust particles, is definitely, you know, a good idea. So another thing about right now, what's going on, guys, is that the, hang on, trying to unshare here. Found it. Are we done? All right, y'all can see. All right, so this is going to sound weird to you, right? But retired people, right? So retired people get a check every month if they're retired, right? So they get a Social Security, they get a pension or whatever, and they get it every month. It's the same amount, same day every month, pretty much, direct deposit into their account. Do you know that those people are getting a stimulus check? All right. I don't understand it. It doesn't really make sense why they would give those people money when they're already getting money and their paychecks haven't been cut. I thought the stimulus was to help people who had lost their job or whatever. So anyway, so I'm just saying that to say there are some people out here in the public that are getting a stimulus check who don't need it. All right. Again, it's the equivalent to another tax refund. And you know, we all do really good around refund time every year. People have a little bit extra money. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people who need those stimulus checks to pay their bills and buy groceries, but there are many thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, or maybe even millions of people here in the US who are getting a stimulus check who really don't need it, right? So again, just something to think about. And again, with the positive news of states getting back started again, I think people again see this as more of a short-term problem again. So we've got something going on that Rexair announced today, and we're going to try to share the screen again. And it is the Time to Shine drawings again, all right? They had just started this right before the virus thing hit. So they're starting it back up May the 1st through 28th. Rexair's giving away $4,000 every week. And they're going to do that all the way through the month of May. And the way you get in the drawing is by doing 3 or more demos. If you'll see that, perform 3 or more demos in a week, and you get it into a drawing for $250. And there's actually 8 drawings per week, which is $2,000 that are doing in that every single week. First drawing will be May the 8th, second one 15th, third 22nd, and the last one's the 29th of May. Also, there's an empty box challenge. When you do a sale, when you make a sale, they want you to put a photo of your empty box and you or your customer or customer's kids or whatever on Time to Shine. So if you're not a member of the Rainbow Facebook group, you go to Facebook, go to groups, and find Rainbow Time to Shine. And every time you make a sale, be sure to post a photo of the empty box. That will put you in a drawing every time you post it. It says after you make a sale, post a picture of your empty box on Time to Shine Facebook group using hashtag Rainbow Strong Empty Box. Get creative, have fun, post after each sale. They're going to give away 4 $500 drawings every single week. That is another $2,000 a week. That is $4,000 a week into 2 drawings, 2 different drawings combined. And again, the drawings are the same day on May 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. Okay? So make sure that you guys are doing 3 a week. Make sure that you're posting your photos on the Time to Shine Facebook group every time you make a sale. All right? So right now, didn't mean to do that. I'm going to show you one more little thing. All right? You know, every month we have our top dog competition, right? So whoever's the best rainbow salesperson in our office is considered top dog, right? And I think most of us know right now who's top dog for the month so far. Her name's
That would
Margot.
be Margot. Yep.
That's Margot Dean, right? And so Margot is sitting on 17 sales at the moment. And I'm sure she's in her car driving to another demo right now. All right. So good job, Margot. Keep it going on. We want to love to see Margot get to 25. Margot, at 25, you get a 25 sales star pin, as well as an award. It's a big glass award that says star on it. Plus you get your name in the Rex Events magazine. There's a whole page devoted to people that have sold 25. You might actually have a shot at winning the worldwide sales champ with 25 sales, because of everything going on. Maybe people, typically it takes 30, 35, 40 sales to win the top salesperson in the US. It could possibly be somebody getting it at 25 or so. So you get the Rainbow Worldwide Sales Champ ring. Many of you have seen my ring. So I did win it, but it was, how many years ago was that? It was 92. Anyway, I was like 12. So anyway, so I wanted to share with you guys some ideas of getting things started again, right? So some of you have not done demos in a couple weeks, and we're not mad about that. We're fine with that, right? You have to do what you feel comfortable doing, right? And there are times that I don't feel comfortable being at work, but I do it for the people that I love and the people that I care for. And I do it for many of you guys because I know there are people on the call who do depend on the money from the Rainbow business, and they depend on us to be here and to support them and to help them get demos. And so, but what could you do to get started? I was looking back at some of your customers, and Ryan can pull some up really easily. I was looking at one while ago, and Jillian's not on here, but it was one of Jillian's sales from February. And I was looking back, they had given 5 green lights, and Jillian has done 1 demo for them so far. Now, I'm not saying it's her fault, but I know that that customer would like to have the shampooer, the mop. What I would do if I were Jillian is I would call those green lights back, right? And I would say to them, your friend needs you to watch the demo, and they're going to win their shampooer, which is valued at $400. And for your time, right now with the coronavirus going on, the company's letting us give you one of our free fresh air machines for helping out your friend, all right? It's something we weren't doing back then, but we're doing it now, right? So if you could go ahead and do the demo so your friend wins their attachments, we'll be glad to deliver your fresh air machine to you, all right? So if you need a list of the people that never earned their gifts, I can give you a list of the people you sold and how many of their demos you've done, all right? That is definitely one good way to get started again. Another good way to get started again, we talked about a little bit on the meeting this morning, and I'd like to just go ahead and say to all of you guys, I am authorizing you, all right, because I'm the one, footing the bill here, right, for this program, to call back as many people up to 10 that you've either sold or demoed recently. Now, and we're going to talk about quality in a minute, all right? Hopefully you won't call back somebody, who maybe tried to buy and had bad credit, all right? Let's just go around them right now. Let's not do that with them because it is a high probability that their friends may be like them, okay? But I want you to call them back, particularly your sales, and tell them that if they will repost their Facebook post that they posted while you were out there, if they will reshare it, make it public, send you a photo. So I need them to make it public, take a screenshot on their phone, send you the photo. After 3 days, I'm going to check it in 3 days and make sure it's still up. I'm going to send them a bottle of fresh air to disinfect, all right? If they will simply repost it, make it public, take a screenshot, send it to you, and you send it to me, I'm going to write down their name, and I'm going to follow up in 3 days. And if the post is still up, I'm going to get with you and we're going to figure out how to get them their deodorizer. All right. If you want to take it back out, if you want to mail it to them, whatever we need to do, let's get them their fresh air. All right. This would get you some extra surveys. So let me tell you what we're seeing. All right. Anna is on here, and I'm going to attempt to unmute Anna, if you don't mind, Anna. You didn't know I was going to have you talk. Ryan, can we unmute Anna? Ryan, can you unmute Anna Taylor, please? Hey, Anna.
Hey, sorry. Hold on. I'm trying to get into a good light, so I'm not backlit. Okay, that's decent.
Perfect. You look great. Hey, tell me this real quick. Tell me how yesterday went for you. What happened?
So yesterday afternoon around 3 o'clock or so, Nancy texted me from the office asking if I could cover a demo in Denver. And I was able to do that. So I went. I didn't know this girl or her husband, but I went, and I've been trying to get my 5th sale after my fast start. I did get the 4th one during my fast start, but I just couldn't get a 5th sale, couldn't get one. And she actually, before even doing the demo, she said, "So do you work for Rainbow?" And I said, "Yeah, I do it part-time." She said, "So all you do is just go around and show vacuums?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, yeah, I guess." And she was like, "I want to do that." And I was like, "Well, all right, well, we don't even need to do this." But of course, I still did the demo. But yeah, she was pretty much sold before I even showed her anything.
Awesome. So they financed their Rainbow, and you made your 5th sale last night, huh?
Yep. Yeah, they financed, and then she'll be on the 6:30 call on Monday. So she's going to do the 21 demos.
Okay. So, you know, we keep hearing this but here's something key about Anna, right? And Anna, there are other people on here, like Irma's on here, maybe Jose and Chelsea. And I'm looking at the people that are on here, Shannon and Mike. Nice to see you guys. And Jamie and Caroline, right? You guys won a Rainbow in your fast start also, Jamie and Caroline. And, you know, the thing I'm noticing, believe it or not, is the people that we have recruited since all of this started, right? Since, you know, the governor put all this stay at home and all, the people we've recruited since then, no one get offended here, but they're not afraid to go do demos. Okay. The people that were recruited after this started, they're not afraid to go do demos. It's odd though, that the people that were recruited before all of this, a vast majority of those people are reluctant to go do demos, right? So I find that real interesting that someone who came in after this started isn't afraid to go. And those that, you know, were here before are. And so, you know, I've seen that not only with the dealer count, but I've seen it with the surveys, right? We call surveys that we've had before all of this started, and they say we don't want anyone in our home. But you call the surveys that took the survey this week since all this started, and they're willing to let us come, right? See, they clicked on it saying they want the free fresh air machine, and they did it during this. And I don't know why that's working that way. All I can tell you is it is working that way, right? So what that means to me is I want new surveys. I want surveys, you know, if you've called your old ones, yeah, maybe they're not looking right now, but your new surveys are. And it's just, I can't really explain it. I'm sure there's probably some logic behind it, but that's why I'm encouraging you with and willing to pay for them to repost it, make it public, send you a screenshot. Now, why do I need them to make it public? It's common sense. I need to check it in 3 days, right? I can't see it if they make it friends only, like they may have the first time, okay? Make sure they make it public. Plus, by making it public, they may get people to see it that didn't see it the first time. And we know by them resharing it there's going to be people that see it now that didn't see it the first time they did post it, okay? So another thing is, as their friends watch the demos, we will reward them with free merchandise. You know, they can get the shampoo and the mop by getting 4 people to watch. They can get the Rainmate and the Air Care to Go, which is the card version, by getting 4 people to watch. So those people who repost, if we end up showing 4 off of them, you're going to get to take them back some attachments with their rainbow they purchased, okay? So I said all that now, and I want to do just a little bit of something real quick, okay? So I've been in rainbow a long time, and I've made every mistake, Margot, there is to make, right? Irma, I've screwed up everything there is to screw up from start to finish. I've lost more sales than any of you guys will probably ever sell, right? I've blown that many sales, right? I mean, literally blown the sale by either not doing my job or by doing something stupid or showing people I shouldn't show. I'm going to tell you, I figured out pretty quick, though, who I didn't want to go show a rainbow to, all right? See, what was different back then versus now was when I got in rainbow, we didn't run referrals. Like, we didn't go and see the house for the first time when we pulled in the driveway. And Shannon, we'd never ask you to do this, but we used to knock on doors when I got in rainbow, and that was all we did. Like, we would take the vacation to the door, knock on the door, and we had our certain script we would use at the door to talk the customer into, you know, letting us come in. I told them I had to do so many a day, that I was a college student, and the company was paying my tuition, but I had to put on so many presentations per week, and that is so many per day, and would you help me? I don't expect you to purchase anything, but I need you just to watch it. When I get done, fill out a little survey of how I did, and for your time, I get to give you this vacation certificate, and I'd explain it to them at the door and go over it with them, and I could get in. Now, there were days I got out there and couldn't get in but one door all day, and there were days that I got in 3 and sold all 3 and went home. I mean, you know, it was a quick 3 sales, and those are days I remember and I love. And but here's what I figured out, right? I figured out that in the summertime in North Carolina, it gets pretty damn hot, right? And I figured out in the wintertime, it gets pretty damn cold, right? And I figured out that if I'm going to get out and I'm going to sweat or freeze, right, I'd be out where it was so hot, you just turn the air off in your car because there's no point, right? You just roll the windows down and just sweat it out, right? I'm saying, but when I got in a home, I wanted to make sure I was in a qualified home. I didn't want to have to go through the misery of getting in the home and then go through a turn down credit, okay? That was adding, you know, that was kicking me when I was already down. It was already hard enough. So I said, well, I'm going to go over here to the $300,000 homes and knock doors, right? Well, I don't have to tell you that those people weren't very nice at the door to me. They were, and a lot of times, rude to me, closed the door in my face. I mean, disrespectful. I've even had the police called on me a couple of times in those neighborhoods. And, you know, not that I was arrested. I just explained to them what I was doing. And they're like, yeah, some of these people are, you know, just real whatever. And, you know, they usually laugh it off and have a good day, you know, good luck. You know, I mean, it was always that kind. But so where did I get in and where did I have the most success? So I got in homes that were middle-class homes. You know, I got in double wides. I even got in single wides. But to knock on a double wide, single wide, or a small little mill house, I always looked for vehicles in the driveway. And, you know, back in the day when I was young like that, I used to know every car. There wasn't as many brands and models and all either then, but I knew every car, and I even knew what year model most cars were. And so, you know, I looked for a car that was financed, a car that was so nice. In fact, there's no way they could have bought it at a buy here, pay here lot, if you know what I mean, because they don't sell a 2019 vehicle on a buy here, pay here lot yet, you know. So I would knock a single wide if it had a brand new Jeep sitting in front of it, or a brand new, you know, Honda Odyssey minivan that I know costs $40,000, you know, And so I just used my head a little bit, right? So when things transitioned Eddie over from door to door, seeing the house, to now seeing the house on a lead sheet, right? Not actually viewing the house, but viewing this. I had enough experience from being in those houses of knowing where those people worked, right? I knew they worked in meals, maybe a lot of them, but they'd been there for 20 years, or they work as teachers, or they work as nurses, or they work, for the post office. They don't work, and I got to honestly say this, and you guys may get offended, and I apologize if I offend anyone, but I can't remember ever selling anyone that worked in a fast food restaurant. I can't remember ever selling anyone a rainbow like that. And it's not that those people are bad people, but they just weren't living where I was knocking. And so, and if they were, it was the spouse, and that wasn't the primary income, but one of them had a really good paying job with benefits, with insurance, with maybe 401k or whatever. I've always said, why would someone who's going to work like that, why would they not go get a job with benefits? Because that is an option. People can do it. So I'm saying all that to say, look, we have to judge people. And I hate it. I hate it's like that. And I don't judge people, I don't judge people's heart or character. I judge their credit. Okay. I'm looking for people with good credit. Because I know I can go in a trailer park, somebody who has went through a divorce, or somebody who has had medical issues, or somebody that just is young and don't have credit. And, I can meet the nicest, most honest people and have a wonderful time with those people. Okay. So I'm not saying anything about the people. What I'm saying is, though, I can't get those people financed, right? And at the end of the day, that's what I got to go on, is who can I get approved? So that's how, again, I learned which houses to knock, because those people had good credit, right? So here's one thing we got to do, guys. We have to do a better job of qualifying our leads, okay? We have to do a good job of getting the information. I see so many people are turning in lead sheets, and they're not all filled out. They don't have the husband's name. They don't have the husband's job. They don't know whether they own or rent. They don't know anything about that. I always compare it to a blind date. If you've ever been single and a friend tried to set you up on a blind date, I'm not sure. Shannon waved her hand. Was that a blind date? Was Mike a blind date? Hey, sometimes it works out, okay? But none of us usually would agree to go on a blind date without knowing something about this person, right? I mean, we would ask questions, what does he or she look like? How do you know this person? What do you know about this person? Is he a good person? A lot of the ladies want to know, does he make good money, and does he have good credit and whatever. So, but we definitely wouldn't go into it without not knowing anything. Who wants to go spend 2 or 3 hours with somebody, that's not somebody we would be interested in? And so why would we go spend 2 or 3 hours with somebody who doesn't have the ability to purchase, who doesn't have a job, that doesn't have good credit? And so if you are the typical rainbow hotshot salesperson, right, which I've been that guy, right, where the only thing I was focused on was selling rainbows, I'm going to tell you, I always say this, there's 2 kinds of people in rainbow, and that is humble people and people that will be humbled soon, okay? Because believe you me, rainbow will humble you, all right? Just when you think you've got it all figured out, you find out you don't. And so I just want everybody to realize that this is a process. It is a job, and it has steps, and it has things that you can and can't do that will affect how much you make. All right. There's people on the call, and I'm looking at Crystal Bennett. I think she must be at a demo, right? Or somewhere. She's at the office. No, okay. All right. So
House.
I've seen Crystal sell 3 in a week. You remember this, Crystal? You sold 3 rainbows, and your check, do you remember how much your check was that week?
$300.
For 3 sales. All right.
And then another one that was 3 sales, that was $1,650.
And what is the difference? What changed?
Credit qualifications, and then green lights, my own green light versus the office setting up.
Right. And so you started taking a little bit better control of your own destiny.
Right.
And you know, so many of us get demos from the office, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? And we appreciate everybody running them, particularly right now. And Anna picked one up for us last night, and I'm so happy for her. But look, this is not something that happens by accident. If you and us together, if we will do our jobs, right? Call us out when we don't. Let me call you out when you don't, right? We have to hold each other accountable. I'm saying we have to do our job. There's no one can get this information but you. We can't do that. We're not the ones in the home getting the leads. You have to do that, okay? The lead sheet I'm holding up is Jessica Stevens, by the way. Jessica does a great job with that. I have another one right here of Kim Hunt. Kim's doing a good job, okay? So whoever trained these guys, thank you. You taught them right. But, or maybe they didn't get credit and we had to call them out. I don't know, whatever. The main thing is you got to get the jobs. So we had this happen, and Eddie, we were talking about it earlier today with Eddie and Kelly. But Kelly is like a lot of us. She thinks she has to get green lights. So she went and did a demo today, and it was our lead we gave her. It's our fault, 100%. That one's on us. And I apologize to Kelly for her having to show that appointment today. She was in a single lady's home that rented, okay? Needless to say, the lady said, I can't purchase, I'm in bankruptcy, right? She called her attorney, I think, even find out, is it possible for me to try to finance anything? But, you know, of course, the attorney said no. So, but what Kelly did, being like a lot of us, she did her job, right? She had the lady, she got 10 leads on the sheet. She qualified them. I mean, she found out the job. She found out on a rent. What Kelly shouldn't have done is, and we talked about it, is Kelly shouldn't have took it to the next step. She shouldn't have gotten any green lights. Here's why. The leads weren't any good, okay? They were renters. A lot of them were single ladies that rent. Some of them were single men. When I get a lead sheet, I don't let them know they're calling anybody tonight. Do you remember in graduation I said to say, guys, in order for me to get credit, I have to get 10 names on my sheet. I promise you I won't call anyone on the sheet until y'all have had a chance to speak to them. In fact, actually what I do is I leave you my phone number and I give you a couple of days to talk to these people. Once you get 4 people to agree, call me or text me and let me know which 4 said yes, and that'll be the 4 I call, all right? But when I do the 4th demo, I get to bring you back a fresh air machine, okay? So I can get credit, and I take my pen out, and I say, who'd be the first person? And they get the leads. So once I get the lead, the first name, phone number, I flip it up, and now I'm going to qualify that lead and find out where they work on a rent. Well, that one might be a single lady that rents and is drawing disability, works at the Dollar Tree or something like that. I'm not going to say anything about that to the customer. They know who they know, and I'm not going to criticize them for that, and I'm not going to say, no, okay, I can't go to her house. That would be discouraging, negative, maybe even looked at as discriminatory, rude, whatever, right? I'm just going to go through and I'm going to get my 10 leads, right? Once I get my 10 leads and I got all the jobs filled out, now I'm going to go back and say, guys, listen, my company has some rules. Remember those 4 people that we said that I need to show? Well, here's the deal. And, you know, Crystal might feel one way. She might be like me. Maybe she's never had any luck selling single women. Maybe you hate showing single women, because I know, as for me, I don't like showing single people the rainbow, all right? I would rather show couples. Here's what I figured out. There's around 350 million people in the U.S., okay? And that's off a little bit, I know, but it's ballpark, right? And in North Carolina, I don't know, probably 8 million. Well, I know in Mecklenburg County, 1 million. 1 million people is a lot of people, right? We're not to the point where we have to show single men yet, right? We're not to the point where we have to take single ladies. We don't have to. We can say, I'm only allowed to show couples. Now, I don't say married people, but I say couples, where there's two people, right? And I noticed you got this one right here, and you said this was your sister. Okay, so when you call your 4 people, could you just not call her, right? And I noticed you got another one over here that's a single man. Okay, could we just not call him either, right? And just say, listen, it's not my rule, that's the company's rule, but they're going to give you $400 worth of stuff. So, but since they're giving you, or 200 or whatever, they're like paying you $50 every demo. So I guess if we look at it from that perspective, they have the right to have some rules. So, I mean, and I don't agree with the rules, just to be honest with you, but I got to go by them, right? So since I got to go by them, guys, you know, let's just try to do the best we can, right? So you have like 6 other ones on here that meet our requirements, okay? So those are the ones we need you to call. So what did I do? I'm directing them to call the people that I have had the most success in, the people who meet my demographic requirements, right? Now, if you are of the opinion that you do really good in single women, right, then I'm not saying don't go, but I am saying if you do accept a single lady, they have to have some requirements. They have to have a job, y'all, where they making $20 an hour. I mean, I guess if you live in South Carolina, $15 an hour might work. Or in my small town where everything's dirt cheap, $15 an hour would work in my hometown too. But if it's in Charlotte, if it's in Rock Hill, they need to be making $20 an hour, guys. That means a single nurse, single school teacher, single postal worker, been at their job 20 years. Or listen, what if she is the Bojangle manager and she's been there for 15 years? You know what? I'd take that. I really would. I'd show that lady a rainbow, okay? But not if she works at, you know, Arby's and she's only been there a month and she's single and she rents. Can you see where you could run into an issue? You're showing a single lady with one income. It is a lower income, because I know most fast foods start people out at below $10. I can say that, right? And she rents, which tells me she hadn't quite got her life together enough to purchase a house. Doesn't mean she's not a great person. Doesn't mean you wouldn't have a good time and you could recruit her and she could be a superstar, okay? And listen, when that happens, I'm so glad we went. But Rainbow's a lot more fun when you can make sales and recruit and all that. And so now I said that to say this, okay? Notice what I said at the beginning when I was talking about what Kelly did this morning. She did a great job. And it wasn't her fault she was in that house. But notice what she did. So she went to a house we sent her on. It was a single lady who rented. And the green light she got from that, a lot of them were renters and a lot of them were singles, right? So why is that? Well, it's real simple. We feel comfortable around people we feel comfortable around, okay? I always tell people the heart wants what it wants, okay? So, right, Crystal? So the thing is, all right, we feel comfortable around people like ourselves. That lady feels comfortable around people who are like her. So what do you expect to get when you're in a questionable home? Questionable leads, all right? Let me reverse all that. When I go to a home and they're both school teachers, when I go to a home, we've been there and we love those homes. And Crystal, honestly, you got to agree, those homes are more difficult, right? They're more difficult in that they're a little smarter. Okay, and that's not the right word. They're just a little bit more skeptical. Let me say that, right?
Less impulsive.
Okay, less impulsive, maybe better with their money, right? Maybe more frugal, whatever, right? And that's not always the case. I know that. I'm just whatever, right? I just know that when I'm in a nice home, it does seem like it's a little bit more difficult, all right, to get leads, to make a sale, to get a recruit, right? But here's the thing. What increased was the level of difficulty, but also what increased was the level of reward. The leads are better, the sale pays more, and the recruit knows more good credit people that they and I will go show next weekend, right? So with anything, when things get harder, the pay should go up, okay? And we've all been in situations where we walked in, it was a dump, and they wanted a rainbow from the word hello. Or better than that, when I get a phone call at the office, I'm interested in a rainbow, I'm automatically thinking, okay, what kind of bad lead is this, right? So I'm automatically asking all kinds of questions about, if you saw it and you liked it and you wanted it, we have a payment plan. Do you feel like we could get you approved? I mean, I'm asking questions like that because why are you calling the office? I mean, now a lot of those are good, but also I'm just more skeptical of them because they're so easy. And so anyway, look, I'm saying all this to say, you got to think. You have to think. A lot of life is thinking. If I can teach my kids anything, it's to think, okay? You got to freaking think, right? And, that's what I'm saying here is you can't be all just gung-ho about the sale, and not worry about who you're showing. That's counterproductive. You can be you can be a worse salesperson. I'll give you a good example, right? Crystal, you'll know who I'm talking about. We won't use any names, but you've met this guy, right? And you've heard me say in the past, he's the best salesperson I've ever had, all right? And he really is. But he is no longer with us. He went to work with another rainbow organization because they promised him a chance to open his own store and all this. Anyway, when he left, I was upset for a minute, but then the longer he's been gone, I don't know that I would welcome him back, right? And here's why I say that. I knew when I gave this guy an appointment, which we gave him all his appointments, by the way, because what I'm about to say. I knew that when he ran the demo, there was going to be no emphasis put on leads. There was going to be no emphasis put on green lights. There was no emphasis put on anything. It was only one thing, and it was selling a rainbow, all right? And I can tell you that you, Crystal, have made more money in the month of March and April, and February probably also, than this person, right? And so why is that? Well, I mean, you're able to get demos. He's simply not, right? I was talking with his distributor last night. He hasn't ran a demo in April, according to his distributor, and I don't know, right? And so, I'm sorry, in the last week. He said in a week, all right? So whatever. All I know is, and listen, I love this person. I hope, and I would welcome this person back. But, I just know that he's just not focused, and he's always going to struggle until he changes that. And I hope to goodness that one day he will. So not only do we need to mark off the renters, the singles, and the renters are okay as long as they have a really good job. Some of us rent, right? And we still looked at demos, got a rainbow, got approved, had great credit, but we knew more, right? And our Jamie raised her hand. But what Jamie and Caroline, what we know is Like one of you been on your job 20 years. I mean, you know, that's a minor detail that matters. So when you tell me where someone works, if the jobs sound questionable, right? Let's say that someone says they work at the Dollar Tree. Okay, well, I'm going to say, let me ask you a question. What do they do down there and how long have they been there? Well, he or she's the manager and they've been there ever since that branch opened. They were at another branch before that. You know, they've been with the company like forever, as long as I've known them. Then that's awesome. I write down there Dollar Tree manager and I'll put okay out to the side. That's telling me that it's okay to show that rainbow there. And that's an exception. Because listen, at any place you get, like Walmart, that's one I get all the time. He or she works at Walmart, right? And Crystal, you've worked at Walmart, and you probably are a good person to say if an average person starts a job at a regular Walmart. I know you didn't have a regular job with Walmart. You had a job in the office, but if I went to work at a regular Walmart job, maybe stocking, third shift, or what would I start out at? I mean, what would my pay be? Do you know? Or
Stalkers are 13, cashiers are 11.
and most people are part-time.
Yes.
So
You
how many
have to
hours?
work more than 40 hours to be full-time,
48.
and nobody works 40 unless you're salaried.
So I'm working, I expect probably 20, 30 hours.
Hmm.
You guys can do the math on that. If I'm making $12 an hour, 20 hours, that's $240. By the time they tax that, I'm probably going to bring home, I don't know how much that would be, probably less than $200. You know, a
I
lot
was
of us
bringing
know.
around 360 every 2 weeks,
See,
and that
there
was
you go.
after taxes, stock, and everything else that came out of my check.
Yeah. So, I mean, think about that, you know, and I'm not saying if someone works at Walmart, it's necessarily bad, right? What I'm saying is, though, you need to ask some questions, right? So she is a manager of a store and she's been with the company 30 years. I would need to know that. Or she is a cashier or she's a department manager, you know, and again, that could be good. How long has she been there? Well, 25 years. Those things matter. You know, the thing about length of employment to me, that tells me, in all honesty, you have an adult there, right? You have someone that doesn't job hop. You have somebody who has a career they've chosen, whatever it is, and they probably have better credit than the people who job hop as a rule, right? Because they have a stable income, they have a stable amount of bills, and they can predict it. It doesn't change. They don't job hop and go months without work, go, you know, months without a check or whatever. Anyway, you know, job can indicate income, length of employment can indicate stability. So ask those questions. Here's another thing you can use too, Eddie, Kelly, the next time we send y'all on a bad appointment, okay? Don't necessarily say, and I've had dealers do this, oh, I didn't want their leads. Well, did you write them down? No, I already know their leads would have been bad. No, see, that's not what I want you to do. I want you to write them down. I just want you to guide them and only let them call the ones that meet the requirements, okay? Because I have been in homes where I show in a little couple in a little single wide mobile home, and they're just a young couple. She's 21, pregnant. He's the oldest one. He's 22, and he works, you know, in construction. He's covered head to toe with grease and dirt, and he's got his work boots on, and there I am in their single wide doing the demo, and I get leads from them, and I say, give me some of your family, guys. We do better if you give me family, right? The reason I say family is because I figure their friends are going to be young couples just like them, right? His buddies he went to high school with or whatever. But if I can get family, I'll get his mom and dad. Turns out his mom and dad work really good jobs. Turns out his aunt and uncle, the uncle's a postal worker, been there 26 years, and his aunt, she's a teacher. Oh my God, I'm getting good leads from this place, right? So that's what I'm saying. I can tell you honestly, I went up to Spruce Pine and I did a demo, exact situation. That's actually what I was thinking as I was describing it to you. Their house, their trailer was way back in a holler. Y'all may not even know what a holler is, okay? Turns out they have hollers up there in Spruce Pine, which is the mountains, by the way, above Marion, North Carolina, getting up towards Watauga and all that. So I went up there because I don't live far from there. And so I ran a lot of demos up that way. And they had to meet us at the convenience store so we could follow them up to their trailer because we were never going to find it any other way. So we pull in, and the first thing I noticed was they had a new Subaru, because everybody in the mountains drives a Subaru because they're all-wheel drive and all that, and they're not that expensive. And so, they had a new Subaru, which got me excited. And I noticed when I got in there and I was warming up with them, they had, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, the calendar up here had a picture of her. The salesperson was handing her the keys to the Subaru, and it had a photo in front of the car of her getting the keys to the Subaru on the calendar. I'll never forget. And I remember thinking to myself, I bet you these people got good credit, even though you would never know it looking at these people, you know. But this is true. The very first green light they got, because I do something different. Now, Crystal does it, and Eddie, you do it. Some of the other people in here do it. I do something different. I speak to my green lights. So when they're calling them, I say, hey, I got to talk to them. Don't hang up. Let me talk to them. And then I take the phone and I speak to the green light in the house, right? I literally do that. I know we talk about it in meetings and we say you ought to do it and we say it's the right thing to do, but I literally do it, right? And here's what I do. I qualify it even more by it says here that you work for the post office. It says here your husband is a mechanic. Is that right? Who's he work for? Oh, awesome. So good. So how's business been? Been good? Awesome. Well, good. So listen, while I got you on the phone, I need to ask you a couple of real quick questions. When we come out to show you, we do have to show you and your husband. Okay. Can you get him to do the demo too when we come out? I promise you we won't be there long. All right, cool. And the last thing I need to ask is, what kind of vacuum cleaner do you have already? What do you use? Well, so the very first one they spoke to, she said, I got a Rainbow. And she says, it's an old one. And I said, oh, wow. Okay. She said, how much are the new Rainbows? And I said, well, you know, it depends. I can make you a good deal since, you know, you have a Rainbow to trade in. So tell you what, I'm coming back up here tomorrow. Would y'all be home tomorrow? She said, well, what time? We booked an appointment. I sent Matt back out, the guy I was riding with. Matt put that one on a credit card the next day. By the way, the single wide we sold that night had good credit, got approved, Class A, right? And he sold 2 Rainbows that weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It was Friday. We were there in their house. He sold 2 Rainbows that weekend, instant set appointments off of that person. And we were in a place, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have door knocked it probably. I guess I might have with the car. But I'm just saying, look, it's all in just being smart and using your head a little bit, okay? And if you're running demos that the office gives you, you're gonna get some good and you're gonna get some bad, all right? Because the truth is, you know, we all can only ask so much, just like you can only ask so much, right? But when you get on a demo, whether you book it or whether we book it, I would ask that you do care and that you go the extra step, all right? And you help all of us stay in good homes. You know, there are people out here, and you know, that guy I was telling you about that's no longer here, we sometimes would call him and offer him an appointment, and he would ask, you know, whose dealer's lead is it? You know, we would say, well, it's Laura's lead. And he says, Laura, the one I ran that one off the other day? Yeah, no, I'm not running any more of her leads. She doesn't know how to get leads. What he's saying is she just didn't ask questions, okay? You know, I talked to Kelly this morning, and I was asking Kelly, and I think maybe somebody else on here I did this with earlier too, and I don't mean to sound, I just try to teach every time I talk to you in a home. You know, the first thing I do when I get to the home is I qualify it. If I got to Jamie and Caroline's house, right, and I pulled up, we gonna go in, we gonna say, hey, you Jamie, hey, Jamie, I'm Jay, I'm the Rainbow guy, hey, is Caroline home? we going to go in, we going to visit. I'm going to tell y'all how beautiful your home is. And I'm going to say, you know, how long y'all lived out here. But eventually I'm going to say, so what kind of work do you do? And then she's going to tell me, I'm going to say, really? Well, heck, are you getting to work any right now with this virus thing going on? Oh, wow. So you kind of laid off right now? Well, Lord, I hate that, honey. So when are they calling you back? Did they give you kind of a time frame? Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So you know you're going back May the 15th. Good. Oh, that's encouraging. Good, good. So have you gotten any unemployment or anything? Did you sign up? Yeah, I've had a lot of friends. They've had a hard time getting through on the website. So good. I'm glad that you guys are doing good. You know you're going to have your job. So Carolyn, what do? You know, and how long you been down there? You know, are you getting to work? You know, how's business there? What if you get in there and the lady's pregnant? You know, I've always wanted to know when the baby's due. You know, are you going back to work after the baby's born? You know, how long do you get from maternity leave? Do you get paid while you're on maternity leave? How's that work? My company don't have stuff like that. I've always wondered. You know, all I'm doing is, Mike, I'm asking some crap, right? You got to know some crap. You can't. Someone told me one time that the Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. And that is so we will listen more than we speak. You know, if you will get in a home and ask questions in a tactful way, they think I'm making conversation. But what I'm really trying to find out is, am I going to have to defer their first payment to after she gets back on to work, or to after the baby's born? But see, by me asking those questions, here's a good example. I'll never forget, I was in Vail and the guy told me, I said, how's business where you work? He says, they are killing us with overtime right now. But you know, 2 hours later, when I showed the price and I showed the payment plan, I did say to him, I said, and remember you told me you're working all that overtime? Man, you probably get time and a half or double time. Probably 2 extra hours at your job can make that payment right there with this overtime you get. And so, but anyway, what did I say? I'm saying to them, don't forget, you already told me you're working overtime. Okay. So by being a good listener and asking questions, right? You hear it all the time. There's power in knowledge, and there's power in being nosy too. And you're not being nosy, but you got to know something. You know, I don't know how many times I've talked to dealers after the demo, and I'm getting ready to thank the customer, and I'll say, hey, Anna, what's their names? And the dealer's like, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. I'll say, you know, Anna, all the way through my demos, I use their names, right? You might want to try that on your next demo. That way you don't forget their names. What have you been calling them the whole time? You know, and so not Anna. Anna has never done that, but I'm saying that you got to use their names, right? And you know, I know Maya says sometimes she writes their name on her hand before she goes in the house. She's got it written on her hand. That way, if she forgets, she can just do that. Okay, and so it is important to do these little things, and you need to ask questions to find out where they work. Okay, so I guess that's the main thing. But I want to remind you that if you want to call up to 10 people back, tell them to reshare, make it public, take a screenshot, send it to your phone, forward that text to me, that picture. After 3 days, I'm going to go back and see if that post is still up. If it is, I'm going to give that person a bottle of fresh air, which we know is $25. I had a lady come up here today. She purchased 3 bottles for $75. Okay. Get these people to repost. Let's juice up our surveys right now, our Facebook. And I'm going to tell you, the people that click on it right now are willing to let you come. Maybe your older Facebook responses aren't, but that's because they clicked on the link before all this started to go on, right? And I'm telling you, there's just something to that. I don't know what it is, okay? If they don't want that, you can offer them a 4-pack of fragrances, whichever, right? But not both, okay? So if you need a list of your demos, please text me when we're done. I will shoot you a screenshot of your last 20 demos, because I know you might not be able to get them all on the phone. If you got 20, surely you can get 10 of them on the phone. I just don't want to, you got to remember, even at my cost, this stuff, if you give away 10 of them, is costing me 150, 200 bucks, right? But I'm willing to do that to get everybody on here some demos, get people started again, right? Because all this sitting around, I don't know about you guys, but I had to use a different hole in my belt this morning, right? And so that's a problem, right? I never gain weight, right? So, okay. Anyway, guys, good luck. Thanks for joining, and we'll talk to you tomorrow if you join, okay?
Later, Jay.
See ya.